It's VXP weekend, which means we have some brand new skirmish targets to take a look at. Hey everyone, Derpy here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the 2020 skirmish cycle and what we can expect based on what we've seen so far. A little bit of background. Everything in here is only based on the VXP targets. I have not seen any sort of preview for these targets. I don't even know if they've had any testing done on these. Keep in mind that these targets are 100% subject to change, and we have seen them change before. We will expect the rated targets to have similar, if not identical, mechanics to this target, but they will have a different layout and even potentially different mechanics. Kixeye will release their own strategy guide, but historically that has come out very late, and the information hasn't even been as accurate as what I've been able to provide just based off my own individual testing, although of course I am often still wrong, especially if Kixeye changes everything which I have zero knowledge or control over. So use this as a really good baseline to understand what's in the VXP targets and what will be in the raid targets if nothing changes, which is probably the most likely path. Let's first look at the ammo carriers. These ships are very weak, and their only job is to store ammo for you to steal with your mutineers. There is a concussive weapon which has a range of about 30, very low damage. It appears to be splash, and you can't counter this with anything, although you can easily outrange it so you wouldn't need to whatsoever. Let's take a look at this ammo stealing action actually happening. My mutineer here only has one blank weapon on it, the one thud one, and it is just a built-in weapon that you see firing here. It is using the special ability to steal ammo from this ammo carrier, and you can see its bar right below or under the health bar. You can see it shooting at this thing. The battlecruiser is a different beast altogether. This thing has no weapons, and it is very, very fast. Its only job is to heal the Typhoon ships, and in these targets it is moving when you get close. Let's take a look at how this thing actually works in this VXP target. As you can see, I have a couple mutineers here, just only the engine and a handful of weapons on. I get close and this thing runs away immediately. I can't really deal any damage to it because it outruns my splash-based damage, although torpedoes on riots actually do a really good job killing this thing. A much more interesting ship is the Typhoon. I do have two slides on this thing. Now this thing is very slow, and in the past we've seen this years and years ago in the lightning carrier type raids, and this has a couple different weapon types on it. I'm going to go through all of them. It has an explosive rocket which has a range of about 150 or 200. It's much greater than your range is the point I'm trying to get across there. It also has an explosive damage over time field that these rockets put out. They don't deal damage directly, the rockets just drop an explosive damage over time field, and you can't counter these things whatsoever. The damage over time field is nothing extreme, it's just very small, and expect to take a little bit more damage if you auto through these things and drive through these things instead of just pathing around them, although don't worry about them too much. The Typhoons also have anti-torpedoes, which do make your riots less effective because your riots deal torpedo damage, whereas your mutineers have concussive Gatling gun type damage, depth charge damage. Another weapon with the Typhoons is the concussive torpedo, and that's the main one you need to worry about. It has pretty much the same exact range that your ships, your depth charges, actually do on your mutineers, so you can't outrange it, it can't outrange you. If you're shooting at it, it will be shooting back at you, for an example. Maybe if you come from the exact right angle, you can outrange it, although I haven't seen anyone do that. It appears that these concussive torpedoes are accuracy-based, which is great. It means you don't have to drive with any sort of tank action, and they seem to favor targeting ship number 5, although I could sort of just be imagining that. But right now, if you want to have your ship number 5 have slightly more evade, slightly more concussive survival, that seems to be the way to go. You can use cormorants to counter this thing, and I'll show you a video of how that works. The most important feature on the Typhoon here is that it does deploy drones, which we'll get to in just a minute. Here you can see a couple mutineers just approaching the Typhoon here, and they're just shooting at it with concussive damage, and you can see that it is actually being healed by that battlecruiser aura, like I said, and is shooting torpedoes at me, and my one cormorant torpedo I have on here is working, even though you can't really tell. Maybe if you zoom in really closely you can see that. The drones are really, really interesting in this target. They don't spawn when you get close to the Typhoon or when you activate it. They spawn from the Typhoon in these preview targets when it actually takes damage. And I'm saying preview, it's really VXP weekend, there's no preview for this thing. Now, it is possible for the drones to only have one wave of them go out, because if you do it wrong, they'll keep spawning and keep dealing damage to you. To have only one wave of drone spawn, you want to hit the Typhoon, deal enough damage to activate it, and then run away. Don't damage the Typhoon again until the drones are dead, and kill the drones. If you take damage with them or if you outrange them, it doesn't matter. Just kill them somehow and stay away from the Typhoon. Once all the drones are dead, the Typhoon will no longer spawn drones and you can kill it easily. If you keep shooting at the Typhoons and the drones at the same time when the drones are spawning, more and more of them, multiple waves will keep spawning, so you want to try to reduce damage by using the method I'm showing right here, and I'll show you on video 2. The drones have a fairly medium speed, and they are equipped with a short-range explosive rocket with about a range of 60, which means that you can outrange it fairly easily, although if you drive directly into it, you will take a decent amount of damage. It appears, and my testing has said, that this damage is splash-based, so keep in mind that evade won't work against these things, and it is uncounterable. Nothing like the Sprints or Missile Defense System 3 will work against this thing whatsoever. Here you can see the same clip from before, but the second half of it. I'm now shooting at the Typhoon, nothing's activated, until I get enough damage going on to it to actually hurt it, and the drones start spawning. The first wave of drones spawns and I kill it, and then the second wave comes out again because I kept damaging the Typhoon. I run away here and I'm outranging these drones until I'm not, and there you can see the short range explosive rockets that they're actually doing damage. And now that those are dead and I didn't hit the Typhoon in the middle of it, I can now start killing the Typhoon, dealing damage to it, and nothing else is going to happen. I did test this with riots and some other ships, so that's the intended behavior here that I have seen. While this video does take a lot of time to put together, I have much more testing done than the ones that you're actually seeing on screen, so if you are enjoying this thing, go ahead and leave a like. My next video will be a how to build a mutineer video based off these VXP weekend targets, so if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. But as always, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.